Price is king, it's where we belong. Stay with the dream, don't lose your way. Right way's the fire that'll light the day. Keep it simple, let the moment arrive. 3-8 trap keeps the hope alive. Hold on tight till the signal's near. Right way's the trail, we're breaking through fear.
Good morning, friends and fellow traders. This is Doug Campbell with Right Way Options, and this is the morning market prep video for November 18th, 2025. Well, I hope everyone had a restful evening, ready for another wild day. The bears are pushing again here this morning. We had selling kind of translate around the world last night, and we're still in the holding pattern for an FOMC minutes and the most anticipated earnings report of this season coming up tomorrow afternoon, and that will be NVIDIA's earnings report. So boy, a lot going on here with the bears showing quite a little bit of activity. Let's take a look at what happened overnight. First off, if we take a look at Asian markets last night, really rough night over there. We saw the Nikkei fell a whopping 3.22%, 1,620.93 lower last night. If we take a look at Korea fell by 135.63 or 3.32%. Hong Kong declined 454.25 or 1.72%. Australia was lower by 167.30 or 1.94%. We saw India decline by 100.40 or 0.40% lower, and Shanghai fell 32.22 or 0.81% lower. So pretty rough day in Asian markets. If we take a look at European markets, they continue to be decidedly bullish here this morning. DAX is down at the 289.12 or 1.23% this morning. FTSE is lower by 119.08, 1.23% this morning. And the CAC is lower by 105.56 or 1.30%. If we take a look at U.S. futures this morning, U.S. futures are also lower. Right now, Dow futures down 241 points. S&P 500 futures down 24.75. I just ticked a 25 down. NASDAQ is down 110 points here this morning. So looking a little bit on the bearish side here today. So how about we take a look at other things going on here in the market. If we take a look at bonds, if there's any good news to be had here this morning, the bonds are easing up just a little bit. 2-year bonds have drifted back down to 3.57%, so a little bit of easing there. The 10-year bonds have also eased up, coming in at 4.11%, and those 30-year bonds coming in at 4.72%. If we take a look at the U.S. dollar had a really good day yesterday, but at the moment, dollar futures are down about 0.5 cents here at the moment. So no major movement in it, but just kind of hanging in there at the moment here, down about 0.5 penny. If we take a look at what we've got going on here in precious metals, metals are lower across the board here this morning, following through with declines yesterday. Gold futures at the moment down 26.40, but as you can see, trying to rally off of overnight lows. Here we've got silver futures are also down this morning, but once again rallying off of overnight lows. Right now down 41 cents, coming in at $50.29 an ounce. Gold is at $4,400 47.90 an ounce. If we take a look at copper falling here this morning, and right now down a little over 3 cents in copper futures. As you can see, COPX miner here pulling back. If we take a look at platinum is modestly lower by $6.80 an ounce here this morning, 0.44%. Palladium also slightly lower by $3.80 or 0.27% lower this morning. Taking a look at cryptos, boy, they had a rough day yesterday. Bitcoin, whoops, there we go. Bitcoin is continuing to show a little bit of bearish pressure here this morning, down 337.73 or 0.38% lower, not 38% lower. Ether is bouncing back here this morning. Ether is up 72.04 a coin, or 2.41% higher here this morning. And Solana is bouncing up $7.98 or 6.14% here this morning. So kind of a mix in those cryptos, but working to improve here today. Let's take a look at what's going on in oil here this morning. If we take a look at United States Oil Fund here, we are up just ever so slightly. Right now, oil is up about 2.5 cents a barrel at $59.87 a barrel. Brent's coming in at $64.25 a barrel. And natural gas is continuing a pullback down just over a penny here, coming back into support and potentially trend. So keep an eye on that. So what does all that mean for the day? Well, how about we settle in? Let's buckle up. Let's get ready for the Tuesday edition of the Morning Market Prep video. Good morning once again, everyone, and thanks so much for being here. I truly appreciate it. Let's take a look at some of these index charts and see if we can figure out how we might want to approach the market for today. Remember, we want to look at these charts for what they are, not for what we want them to be. We want to focus in on the details. That helps us see these kind of moves and not get caught off guard. If you remember, I was talking about Friday, be really careful with the bounce back rally. It was such a strong move in that bounce back. I said we need to be watching for whipsaws, and that proved to be true. Doesn't always prove to be true, but obviously there's probably a lot of folks feeling some pain here after rushing back in on Friday. Now we're back down here testing some pretty substantial support here in the chart with a gap down after a nasty move yesterday where we pushed on lower and drifted below the 50-day moving average. And you can see at the end of the day, we pushed back up here in the Dow, tried to recover that, now gapping lower here this morning below that 50-day moving average. And unfortunately, we are putting in a lower low here in the Dow. Now, that's not terrible because we had a higher high. But that's the problem when we've got breadth as weak as it is. Those whipsaws can be really nasty, and that's what we've done here. We've whipsawed the Dow from a new record high straight down to a new low, a new recent low, and that potential that we could have the first half of a downtrend coming into place here on the diamond. So keep a close eye on that. Now, if the bears were to continue to push, this could get really serious here. If the bears were to continue to push and break this level of price support, I see that possibility. Breaking that level of price support, we could move substantially lower, and unfortunately we could do it in a real quick move because of the way things are setting up here. So watch that carefully here. If this area gives up and those bears really start exerting some pressure here, we could move substantially lower pretty quickly. Now, if the bulls can fight, and I think there's probably a little bit better chance of this today, that from an oversold condition, we get the bulls fighting back here a little bit and we might catch a bounce. The only thing that bothers me about that is some of the earnings that we're seeing today, not so favorable. And at the moment, we're just really trying to figure out what NVIDIA is going to do tomorrow. Will it be bullish? Will it be bearish? I can say that it may be one of the most important earnings reports here for this season, because if NVIDIA were to stumble in that earnings report or disappoint in any way, we might be in for a pretty nasty sell-off here in the market. However, if it can come in strong, we might be able to bounce off of this area here and start pushing back up to see if we can test some of these resistance levels in the chart. Now remember, in the Dow, what's going to be really important is how we deal with any kind of rally back. If we can rally back up and show some strength and some breadth in that move to the upside, perhaps we can push this right back up into these levels and push right back through and then get on with that process of going on higher. My worry is, however, we're going to struggle in the rally back up, and somewhere in this area we're going to run into a little bit of price resistance, a little bit of high, and then we create that lower high here in the Dow. So watch that carefully. Now if we take a look at the SPY, also this morning we're going to be setting right here on this edge. Now it's interesting here in the SPY that we so far haven't been able to take out this low, but doggone it, we're so close. I don't know, that could happen at any moment. And what we've really essentially created is that lower high and potentially that lower low coming into play here in the SPY. We fell back below our 50-day moving average here yesterday, showing some weakness yet here in the SPY. So it's going to be really critical as to how we rally back up if those bulls have anything to say. So watch that carefully. If the bulls can get going and rally back up, we get a little bit of price resistance, maybe right in that area, and then we can start stretching back up through some of these candle bases to see if we can push up into this fairly strong area of resistance. Now if we can push on through there, then we will start watching up here toward that downtrend line in the chart for that hint of any selling coming back into the market. If the bears were to have anything to say and we push on through here again, I do have that concern that if those bears really push down through this level of support, well, we could have a pretty substantial sell-off here. We could sell beyond, break this candle here to the downside. So watch that carefully in the SPY. Looking at the QQQ, very similar situation here in the Qs. We had already made a lower high and a lower low here in the Qs. And yesterday, pushing back down, we drifted back below that 50-day moving average, creating that technical damage here in the chart on those averages. So watch that carefully. If the bears were to say that they've got more energy to push to the downside, then I would be looking for this area price support, a pretty substantial push down in the QQQ if that were to occur. Now, keeping in mind, if those bulls can fight back here, this is a pretty good area to fight back from, and if we can bounce in here and push back up, let's keep an eye on this resistance in the chart. That's going to be really critical as we push back up into here. Can we push right back through there? And if we can, then I'm going to start looking at this area here, pushing back up into that resistance and that downtrend here in the chart. That's where I'll be watching for that potential of an additional rollover or a potential short here in the market. So keep a close eye on that. And then if we look at IWM, poor old IWM, very much unloved here. Failed at a lower high, made a new low. You can see we have already stripped out this candle here substantially and heading into this next area of price support in the chart. Now I'm going to pull this back. You can see that price support does run back across here quite a ways, so should be a pretty decent area of price support. If those bears, however, have anything to say and we break that down, if we break down through here, then I'm going to be looking for a price support level somewhere around in here. Could be some, pretty strong push to the downside if they break through that level. If the bulls can fight back here, then we'll start looking for that bounce back up somewhere in this area and start pushing back up toward this area of resistance in the chart. And just realize, poor IWM, we have driven this into pretty substantial resistance above right now. And so as we push back up, we're going to need something special here, I think, to push us straight back up through those levels. Watch that carefully. We could easily fail in any one of these levels up in here. If however, we find enough energy and we can push right back up into this downtrend. Look at all of this congestion right in here. We could run into that, see those bears come back in and start that process on lower here in the Russell. So watch that closely. Again, major failure of the 50-day moving average. And once we fail the 50-day moving average, any bounce back up that fails below the 50, we start looking for that 200-day moving average to be tested. So keep an eye on that. Let's look at our VIX here. Our VIX obviously showed some fear yesterday. We bounced around in here, a lot of whipsawing yesterday. Bounced around in here, pushed up substantially in the VIX. We eased off right at the end of the day, but still holding above this resistance in the chart. The gap down this morning is not going to help that here. We're probably going to push on higher in VIX this morning, but we'll see if we can catch some support in there. So as I have mentioned before, guys, it's always the higher low. It's always the higher low that you have to worry about. And that's why I was cautioning last week about be careful chasing the bounces. We may be finished up for a little while on the just rush in and buy the dip. Be careful here as we made that higher low in the VIX and continuing to push to the upside. I would look for a relief rally, however, coming anytime here in the market, because if we take a look at T2122, our T2122 indicator, remember, we haven't been down here and stayed down here for a very long time. There is a lot of evidence back in the past where the bears really kind of gain ground, gain energy, and then we linger down here in this lower area of the market. But as a general rule, we can push a little bit lower in here with a gap down this morning, but then I'd start looking for a bit of a relief rally to start to come into place. Just a short-term oversold condition here where we could catch that little bit of relief back to the upside. Now, it's going to be really, really critical in that relief back to the upside that we actually see some bullish breadth. What we saw yesterday is that the breadth of the market increased on the bearish wave. It started a little bit weak, but as we began to sell off here in the market, the breadth of the market pushed in here on the bullish side. That's something we haven't been able to see on the bearish side. Something we haven't been able to see on the bullish moves in the market yet. We rally, but our breadth remains weak. And the more we rally, our breadth has been fading, putting in those big potentials of that reversal and that whipsaw here in the market. So if the bulls are to take over today, we need to see those bulls put in some serious effort to show us breadth pushing on through to the upside on the bullish wave. If we continue to see the selling coming into play and that breadth continuing to accelerate to the upside, well, get ready for a little bit of pain in the market if that is the case. Now, if we go back and we take a look at T2108, a little bit of damage created here in T2108. At the close of the day, we were back down here below 30%. Once again, we're reaching an oversold condition in the short term, but this gap down this morning could easily push us even lower here. We might take out these little support levels here in the chart. So watch that carefully. And I want to remind everyone, we can go a lot lower in T2108. So just keeping in mind, I know a lot of folks have kind of gotten into this idea this market just can't fall. Tech is too strong. We just can't see any selling. Well, here's the evidence that we can. So remember to focus on the chart, not your desire for the market in there, because that can cost you a lot of money. Just be really focused on the details of the charts. And our T2107, pretty serious technical damage here. For the first time, we really broke through some of these lows here to the downside yesterday. So watch that closely. If we continue to fall, and with a gap down here this morning, could easily see us be testing down here around 40%. So watch that carefully. We're just creating more and more technical damage as we move to the downside. But we've moved so far to the downside. Once again, I would really be watching for that possibility of a little bit of a relief rally here to the upside. It really is going to depend on NVIDIA Wednesday afternoon if we are able to sustain any kind of relief rally that could start today. If NVIDIA were to disappoint, just be really prepared for us to whipsaw. Even if we relief rally a little bit today, just be prepared for that potential of a nasty whipsaw Thursday morning that could create a gap if NVIDIA were to stumble. If it produces a really good report, that will help that relief rally extend on through. Whether it will reverse course here in the market, that's another thing to be watching for. But just be very cautious here and make sure you're planning your trades carefully. Let's take a look at our economic calendar here for today. And our economic calendar, we got a little bit going on in here, but truth of the matter is some of the most important reports we're not going to get. We've got import-export prices here this morning. I'm not sure we'll get that. We didn't get it last time. As you can see, we have no prior report in here. They're looking for a negative 0.1 here on that import-export prices. Industrial production, here again, we did not get this report last time, so I'm not sure we're going to get it this time. We've got consensus in here suggesting a negative 0.1 on industrial production, but still a pretty good hold there, 77.3 on capacity utilization. And then factory orders, they're already telling us factory orders will be delayed here. We've got e-commerce retail sales that will possibly be out. We've got some Fed speak in here, a bond auction, 6-week bond auction in here that will be going off today. Treasury International and Lori Logan will be reporting. Remember, as we look into Thursday, I'm not sure we're going to get housing starts and permits. They're already saying we're not going to get international trade, but we will be getting our mortgage applications numbers. We've got a petroleum status number coming out. Couple of bond auctions in here, 20-year being the most notable. Then we're going to get the FOMC. Williams will be speaking, and then we hit that highly anticipated NVIDIA report. So be prepared for tomorrow to be choppy, uncertain, until we get through some of those details here in the market. And then I would expect pretty substantial gaps possible on Thursday, either gap up or gap down, depending on how NVIDIA performs here. Let's take a look at what we have going on here in our earnings calendar today. Our earnings calendar, well, here's our notables. You can grab a screenshot of that today. We'll cover a couple of those here today. But pause the video, grab a screenshot. Those are the notables. This morning, the most notable is going to be Home Depot here. And Home Depot disappointing here, moving lower. So keep an eye on that. That's adding pressure here to the Dow. We're going to get a report from Medtronic, and you can see that is really getting a good pop here to the upside. Medtronic showing lots of strength, and one of the areas of the market that has been incredibly strong here recently is anything in healthcare. So Medtronic, nice pop there this morning. So keep an eye on some of these reports, but obviously it's not helping us enough. Still looking for a bit of a gap down open at the moment. Let's take a look at a few stocks that could be setting up for today. But before we do that, everyone, if you could do me that quick favor, if this is the first time you've seen these videos, if you could please click that subscribe button on YouTube and also click that bell icon when it pops up so you'll be notified every time I post a video. If you find these videos to be useful or helpful, if you could do me that favor and click that thumbs up button, leave a brief comment. That helps the channel to continue to grow. Thank you so much for everyone who does take the time to do that. I truly, truly appreciate it. We'll want to be working together, helping each other in this kind of market, because when we see this kind of volatility, and we've been getting warnings of this kind of volatility and the danger because of the wide bid-ask spreads in the option chains, making it very clear that even the market makers are concerned about what's going on here, widening out those bid-ask spreads to protect themselves. So be very, very careful here if you choose to put together some trades, either long or short, in this market. Let's take a look at what we have going on in here. First off, some defensive sector stocks continue to hold up pretty well. Coca-Cola looking pretty good in there. I don't see any major issues or problems in here with Coke. If we can get a little bit of bullishness coming in the market, this could perk right up. Now, keeping in mind, it may have to rest on out here toward the trend before it goes, but keep an eye on that, hanging in there pretty good. Take a look at FedEx, nice little resting pullback in here, coming back into trend. I would be looking for that next opportunity coming up here in FedEx, showing quite a little bit of bullishness. And remember, going into the holiday season here, we would hope that there is going to be some significant sales going on. Of course, most of that gets shipped nowadays, so watch that carefully here. If we can hold this higher low in here, then we might have that opportunity for FedEx to move on through to the upside. I was a little bit disappointed in my UPS yesterday. I do have a small position here in UPS, but as you can see, it is still trying to hold in here. So I think maybe just the drawdown of the market yesterday, additional volatility in play here. As long as I hold in this area, I'm fine, and I will continue to be watching for that next opportunity here in UPS if that can get going. Take a look at some of the healthcare stocks in here. I was mentioning Pfizer yesterday to folks in RWO. We broke this downtrend here in the chart, and then we're trying to hold a higher low right in here. Pfizer is one that has been lagging behind many of the others in this sector, in the drug maker sector. So watch that carefully. If this can catch a bid, that might start pushing right on through here to the upside. Obviously, Merck has been very, very bullish, breaking on through. As a matter of fact, this is a beautiful weekly chart. set up in here for that longer term run. So any kind of little rest or pullback in here sets up an opportunity there in Merck. Things like BMY also trying to hold a higher low in here, might catch a little bit of bullishness in here if those buyers can step up in that area. You know, when we take a look at some of the other healthcare out there, things like J&J has been looking really good. Obviously, Eli Lilly has been a monster to the upside, but you can look at things like Abbott Labs pushing back up here while the market's been bearish, been moving pretty strongly to the upside. Any little rest or pullback sets up an opportunity. ISRG, Intuit Surgical, pull back into support. As long as we can hold in this area, I would be looking for that next opportunity for that push here to the upside. And being into the AI surgery, robotic surgery and stuff, I would think ISRG could get some benefit from that Medtronic report here today. So kind of keep an eye on that. So there's quite a few areas in this market looking pretty good in the healthcare sector. Take a look at MKC. Really beautiful trade pattern in here. MKC looking bullish. Every reason to believe that could push right on through to the upside. CBS has been holding in there pretty steady. No major worries on that one. We've seen Amgen really stretching here to the upside. Any kind of rest or pullback could set up an opportunity there. On additional defensive sector type trades, take a look at PepsiCo. That's been stretching up while the market's been selling off. I would wait for a rest in here. I would wait for a rest or consolidation to prove that it can actually hold a higher low, not just race up and whipsaw back, but actually hold that higher low, and then I would look for that opportunity to catch into that trade. Things like NEE, very bullish here yesterday on the defensive area here of utilities. So healthcare, utilities, a little bit of defensive retail out there, really showing the strength while everything else is not. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of rotation into safer plays, but NEE looking very good. I would keep a close eye on that. Take a look at Duke. Duke had a good push back up yesterday in some of those stocks. Things like Dominion, a nice little higher low there on Dominion, trying to push through some major resistance, but if we continue to see bearishness today, that might just find that opportunity to push right on through to the upside. Take a look at Well in here. Well, real estate trust, defensive area of the market, dividend payers. Keep an eye on things like that, continuing to stretch right on through to the upside. Take a look at maybe Northrop Grumman. Grumman kind of coming in off of a bottom pattern here, but I got to tell you, there are some good looking short trades potentially setting up here in the market as we rally back up. And so once we get a little relief, watch things like Northrop for a potential short to the downside. And I'm seeing a lot of those showing up in the market. So keep a close eye on those. Quite a few failures of the 50-day moving average. So I would watch a bunch of those for those potentials to sell off. For those that are still trying to hang in there and hold up, well, you gotta like the way Macy's is hanging in here. Obviously pushed down yesterday, but if we can hold in here, again, more of that consumer cyclical, consumer defensive, things that we're going to be needing even in a sell-off in the market. So watch some of those come into play. So there's a few stocks. Just be really careful here today. Very likely we could see lots of whipsaws and chop in the market, and I think that's even possible through to tomorrow. If I were to lean into this at all, I would say some kind of relief rally, but I don't think I'd stick around with that relief rally too long as we move toward that FOMC minutes and NVIDIA. So just watch that carefully. So with that, everyone, hey, I want to wish you all a fantastic day. I want to wish you great results in your trading. Remember, cash is a position. You don't have to deal in this. You don't have to play in this. Let the market settle out. Let the volatility drop out a little bit, and then look for your opportunities. Sometimes less is more when it comes to the market, and this is one of those times, I believe. So be very, very careful. With that, everyone, wish you all the best, and I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Take care, and as always, wish you all the very best.
Black and white candles, my stars in the dark. Price is my king, got that fire and spark. Rideways my ranch on the trader's trail. Trading with heart where the profits prevail.